Okay, what's going on, guys? Today we are going to a little city called San Diego, California, and we're going from Tijuana. A couple things I'm gonna note. This is gonna be the complete guide, how to get back, but this is a couple things I'm gonna note here. 1, I am a US citizen, I have a passport. 2, I do not have Sentri. 3, I'm going to be walking across the border, which is the fastest way to get across the border, regardless if you have a car or not, or depending on what time of the day it is. And I'm also gonna be taking the train, although I will outline all of the different ways you can get back from the border to your respective city or San Diego in this manner. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into it. This is a complete guide how to get back to San Diego from Tijuana. All right, let's get it. All right, first things first, before we get to the border, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. We need to understand when the best times to cross by foot are, and they vary drastically. So let's start with weekdays right now, but first let me start by saying that these times are 100% subject to change. There are random events, holidays, and random closures that make the line just unpredictable at most times. Do not follow the online border wait time website. Okay, so weekdays, pretty much any time after the morning rush, which starts at like 3:30, 4 a.m. and ends at around 11 a.m. So if you're having a late night, get to the border before 4 a.m. or before you catch that morning work rush. Throughout the day, it's pretty consistent. I'd say it's about 30 minutes max until you get to about 7 or 8 p.m. where it dies off and there's no real wait. If you do find yourself at the border between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., I would say your best bet is to go to Garita Chaparral or Ped West. We're going to focus on San Isidro right now, Ped East border. We're not going to talk about Otay today because I rarely use it, so let's focus on San Isidro. Rush hour weekday waits, you can expect wait times between 45 minutes and 1.5 hours. Weekends though, it's a completely different animal. People go into the US for the weekends, so Friday after work until like 9 p.m. it's going to be rush hour traffic. So Saturday and Sunday throughout the day it's pretty consistent. I'd say the minimum, if you get lucky, is going to be 25 to 30 minutes, upwards of 1.5 hours, tapering off once again around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. So the next thing I want to talk about is the salesmen that are there. They'll try to scare you and say, hey, the line's 2 hours, the line's 3 hours long. Get on this bus for, I don't know what they say, $10, $20, $30. But what you don't know is that the line's really not going to take that long. And what they're doing is they're shoving you into a bus with a bunch of other people. And then once that bus is full, they're throwing you into the line with the cars that are crossing. You have, I think it's a ready lane line, so it's a little faster, but still, totally not worth it. It's a hustle. Don't fall for those. I'll take a video of those when we get there. So after saying all of that, we will be heading to the border around 1:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. So we're hoping, based on what I said, that it should be 30 minutes max. So let's see what happens. All right, so we just arrived to the line, got dropped off by Uber. Uber's the only way to travel within Tijuana city limits. Don't ride the taxi, don't ride the buses if you're not a professional. It's just way easier and way cheaper, and you know what you're gonna get. So, all right, here's the line. Just as we expected, no line. Okay, so typically when the line's long, this will go all the way back to the bridge back there, but right here, if we get under this cover, it's usually the first push, but we're not even gonna stop. This is amazing. All right, let's keep it pushing. So things you will experience here in line, people selling food, people selling little trinkets, churros, I just realized I forgot my passport, but no te preocupes. You don't need it going into the US if you're a citizen. To show them your ID. Coming back into Mexico, they're gonna charge me a day pass, which is $20. But I'm gonna try and walk in on the Mexican side so I don't have to pay. Also, when it's busy, you'll see raperos y people vender todas las cosas. There's a bunch of stores you can stop in on the way in. All right, so 1:10 Tuesday afternoon, 0 line. I'm walking all the way straight up into customs, showed him my ID. Gonna make it through, all the way through, hopefully in less than 10 minutes. So it's a win. See you on the other side. I'll try to get some camera footage of the little customs area, but no phones are allowed. See, Ped East pedestrian. So if you have Sentri, you're lucky and you go that way, and then everyone else goes in here. put my phone away for a second. All right, just like that, we're on the other side. So, two things I want to point out. It's way easier to go through that when you're not deathly hungover or still drunk. So, have a clear head of mind and you'll feel way less anxiety waiting in those lines. The second thing I want to point out is that there's 22 lanes, as you saw. It's not always about what line is the shortest. What's more important is how many Border Patrol officers is each line feeding into. I'll gladly take a super long line that feeds into 3 different officers because it's going to go much faster than if you have a short line that's only feeding into 1 officer, especially if that officer decides to up and leave, which they do that. So be patient. Man, what's going on here? There's always so much ratchet shit going on out here. Look. All right, so here's your card. You're going to scan it here. Boom, $2.50. And you're going to take the bus that takes you, it's the blue line, all the way to, they haven't switched it yet, but it's going to take you to downtown. So what I want to point out are the different methods of leaving the border to get back to San Diego. And I'm not talking about walking. So one is the most expensive. I would say Uber. It's ridiculous how expensive it is. Uber to get back to San Diego, on average, $30 to $50. $40 on average to get a 20-minute drive. It's terrible. Other option, have somebody pick you up. My favorite option, what we just did, was the trolley. That is the best. It takes about 50 minutes, but it costs $2.50. Or you can have someone pick you up, or you can walk, but you already know. There is, of course, a time and a place for everything. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to ride the trolley if you're crossing with people, or you have to get back fast, or you're with the, with a girl. Take the Uber, or have somebody pick you up. It's much easier, much faster. So this is crazy. Due to the flooding and the rain yesterday, the tracks are closed, so it's not going to impact my video. It's not going to impact the full guide on how to get to San Diego, but it is impacting my way of getting home. So I'm going to call an Uber. Look at the tracks. This is downtown San Diego. These are all the people who can't get down south or get back on the trolley. They're shut down everywhere. So calling an Uber. So now we're on to be stranded right now. All right, making it back to Mexico now. That's the video. I hope you guys found that useful. I guess my biggest takeaways are knowing the times of when it's going to be very busy at the line, knowing how to transport yourself from the other side of the gate to San Diego. Well, remember, that's the Uber, trolley, getting picked up, or those are the options. And identifying which line to take when you are in the customs. Remember, the more Border Patrol officers that are servicing the line, the faster it's gonna go. All right, guys, hope that was helpful. Please subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments.